he didn't want to sign the contract. I know that for a fact. I spoke to UFC and they said, we finally convinced him to sign. If you need convincing to sign, that's a problem. I can't blame him. I'd also not want to fight me right now. It would be the smart move not to sign the fight, but let's go.
He can say whatever he wants to say, but he's talking to the guy who flew across the world on 6-7 days notice.
Yeah,
6 days notice
when Hamzat was the scariest man on the planet.
Yes, and flew across the world again before that to go fight Masvidal when Masvidal was coming off the flying knee, everybody scared. So to sit there and say that I'm scared, come on now.
Before we get into the fight itself, there's been some interesting drama between DDP and Kamaru Usman that's worth talking about. The two recently exchanged words online, with both fighters taking subtle shots at each other and making it clear there's no love lost between them. It's the kind of back and forth that only adds more excitement to an already huge matchup, and fans have been reacting to it ever since. Alright, let's see how the MMA world is calling this one. Some of these picks make a lot of sense, while others might surprise you. So let's get into it. Michael Bisping believes Kamaru Usman has a real chance in this fight, especially after his impressive performance against Khamzat Chimaev on short notice. However, he ultimately gives Dricus du Plessis a slight edge because of his relentless, unpredictable style and knockout power.
So I think Usman's going to do great. He did great against Khamzat Chimaev, and that was on short notice. On the feet, I think a favoured Dricus du Plessis. He's not as clean as Kamaru Usman, but with the chaotic style that he has and the power he has, that's why I kind of favour Dricus du Plessis. But still, anything can happen in a fight. Just ask Jorge Masvidal, because Kamaru Usman does have real power.
Moreover, Jorge Masvidal believes Kamaru Usman is still far from washed and remains more than capable of competing for a championship. While he acknowledges that Dricus du Plessis is an extremely dangerous fighter with explosive power and athleticism, Masvidal feels Usman is simply the more complete mixed martial artist.
I don't think he's anywhere near shot. I think he can still contend for a belt. I think du Plessis is a dangerous fighter because he's heavy-handed as hell, super athletic. But du Plessis almost has to fight a perfect fight to beat Usman. Usman, I think, beats him 3-4 times out of 5 easy. Just he's too complete everywhere. And where he's lacking, du Plessis is lacking, Usman is phenomenal, which is the wrestling and the control department. And Usman is good enough with the hands that I don't think he gets in too much trouble. I think he's able to get some takedowns and control du Plessis. Unless du Plessis has made some drastic changes from his last fight with Chimaev, which I don't know if he did in short time. He's a great athlete. I don't put it past him that he could improve a lot, but could he improve enough to deal with Usman's wrestling? I don't think so.
Furthermore, Caio Borralho sees this as a true clash between two elite champions. He believes both fighters have high-level grappling, with Kamaru Usman holding a slight edge in that department, while both are dangerous on the feet. However, he feels Dricus du Plessis is the more aggressive and violent striker, whereas Usman is the more patient and calculated fighter. It really comes down to controlled precision versus relentless pressure, and whichever fighter is able to impose their style first could end up leaving the octagon with the win.
I think it's a great matchup, like two former champions, and Kamaru is like a historic fighter, and Dricus already became a historic fighter too. He dominated the weight class so good, and I think it's going to be a great fight, because both has great grappling. I think Kamaru a little bit more, but great striking for both, but Dricus is a little bit more violent, and Kamaru a little bit more calculated. So I think it's going to be a great matchup. I'm excited to see this fight, and let's see. I don't know if my next fight will be Joe Pyfer, if they're going to hold him to do the fight. I think he deserves to fight in Philly, but if they hold him, it's going to be a great fight too. Sure. But if not, he's already fought. I'll be happy to get the winner from Kamaru and Dricus.
Chael Sonnen believes Kamaru Usman is a very live underdog and sees this as a difficult stylistic matchup for Dricus du Plessis. He points to du Plessis struggling over the final 5 rounds of his last fight against a strong wrestler and argues that many fans have forgotten just how elite Usman's wrestling credentials are. Sonnen reminds everyone that Usman is a national champion wrestler and was once considered an Olympic prospect, making him one of the best wrestlers in MMA.
Yes, I think he's alive. I think this is a terrible matchup for Dricus du Plessis. I really do. Look, Dricus did not just lose his last fight. He lost his last 5 rounds. Oh, by the way, to a superior wrestler. Kamaru Usman is a national champion wrestler. Everybody forgets that. They thought that Colby was going to go out and just take him down. For example, people got reminded he did it on the Division II level, and Division II doesn't get the same credit as Division I in this country, but he's still a national champion. He was an Olympic prospect back in 2012. Kamaru Usman definitely can win this fight.
Din Thomas believes Kamaru Usman's move up to face Dricus du Plessis is a smart decision and a favorable stylistic matchup. He praises Usman's underrated fight, IQ, explaining that Usman rarely puts himself in bad positions, stays fundamentally sound, and doesn't make many mistakes. Thomas believes those qualities will allow Usman to capitalize on Dricus' openings, secure takedowns, and control the fight.
The fact that he is going up to fight DDP, I think it's a great business decision.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, and I think it's a great matchup for him because I think he has underrated fight IQ. Like, he never really allows himself to get out of position and fight out of his element. He's always in position. His hands are always in the right place. His feet are always in the right place, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. And because of that, he will be able to capitalize on every mistake that DDP makes. Yeah. And he'll be able to get him down, and even DDP might be able to get back up a little bit better. But I think Usman is just so smart, always on top of his game, that I don't even see him getting hit with a big shot.
MMA Guru is backing Dricus du Plessis to win by third-round TKO. He believes du Plessis is still improving at just 32 years old and showed noticeable progress in his striking during the Sean Strickland rematch. While he expects Kamaru Usman to have some early success with his wrestling, he doesn't believe Usman will be able to consistently control or dominate Dricus on the ground.
He's only 32, you know, in a heavier weight class, 32 years of age. He's taken some time off since the Chimaev fight. I think he's going to be improving. I still thought he was on his road of improvement. And I think his stand-up massively improved against Strickland in their rematch as well. So I'm going to go towards Dricus. I think he's dangerous, powerful. I don't think Usman's felt that type of power before in terms of like those big shots. I mean, he's fought Covington, Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards. That's not the power of Dricus du Plessis in the punches. You know, he's going jab for jab with Covington at one point. If Dricus is popping his head back with jabs and just sort of catching him on the end of some of those long right hands, I think it's going to be a long night for him. I reckon I see Dricus du Plessis with a second, third, fourth round TKO after Usman maybe starts strong with some grappling sequences. But I don't see Usman finishing Dricus on the ground. I don't see him dominating Dricus every round in the wrestling. And I think Dricus is going to get off kicks and striking early in these fights and have a bit of a drawn out back and forth start to a dominant finish in the third round. I'm going by third round TKO, Dricus du Plessis. And then we'll see what's next for the winner.
To wrap things up, this is one of those fights where both men have clear paths to victory. Usman's elite wrestling, experience, and fight IQ make him a serious threat, while Dricus du Plessis brings relentless pressure, devastating power, and the ability to overwhelm opponents in chaotic exchanges. In my opinion, though, Dricus gets the job done. I think he'll weather the early wrestling, gradually take control as the fight progresses, and eventually break Usman down to retain his title. But that's just my prediction. So, what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comments section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.